Masculine energy provides us with the sense of confidence, purpose, and direction that we need in our lives in order to get what we need to get done and live lives that we're proud of living. So let's get right into how you can increase your masculine energy. The first thing that I want to share with you today is to do the difficult things in your life. Do something difficult, face difficulty, set yourself some challenges. So a great place to start is find the things that you want to do, that you're interested in or curious about, that you would like to be good at, but potentially suck at the moment. Okay, so what are the things that are your weaknesses that you would like to be strengths one day? Think about your confidence, think about your physical strength, your physical condition, your health, okay? And there are many subdomains to that. For example, you might be strong physically, you might be able to lift good weights, but your cardio might be terrible. And so find challenges that you can set yourself so that you can turn your weaknesses into strengths by overcoming difficulty. Remember that failure is necessary on the path to success. Success of any form, we have to learn how to fail. We have to have a willingness to fail. And so if you're going to get good at something that maybe you're not good at already, you have to fail, just like the baby falls over when learning how to walk, rising up again and learning how to walk with time, persistence and practice. So this is the first way that you can start to increase your masculine energy so that you can be that man with purpose, direction and drive that you're proud of. The next tip to increase your masculine energy is to become more rationally minded. A rational mind as opposed to an emotional mind. Now, of course, we have both of these, right brain, left brain ways of operating in the world. But it serves us men to learn how to be rationally minded so that when something is in front of us, when we are faced with something that's difficult or something that we might be putting off or procrastinating because of emotional reasons, we can rationalize it, we can break it down logically, we can break down the situation to see it as it truly is and then navigate it better. So let's say, for example, there's something that you want to get good at, there's something that you want to level up in, you want to make YouTube videos, or you want to be making content on your social media to inspire other people, or you might want to get good at a certain skill. In the beginning, it's going to be embarrassing, isn't it? Now, the irrational mind would say, oh, but I don't want to do that because I'm going to feel embarrassed or I might feel uncomfortable. Feelings, okay? In order to increase our masculine energy, we really got to learn to separate ourselves from our emotions and become more rational about the situation. If you don't practice, if you don't even start, if you don't have a go, if you don't make the attempt, like I'm making the attempt right now to do this video and potentially make a crap video, are you going to be likely to make progress in making better videos in time, or being better at guitar, or being better at speaking to people out in public, girls, guys, whoever it is? If you don't put in the work and practice, then rationally, just from logic, the chances of you getting better in that area are none, okay? The only way you can guarantee failure is by not trying. And so become more rationally minded in your life. Start to see things as they are. Meditation has helped me with this tremendously because it gives me the ability to separate myself from the thinking mind. I can also separate myself from my emotions and the language of the emotions through sitting in meditation, observing my thoughts, observing my dialogue, observing it, not reacting to it. That gives me the space to differentiate myself, who I am, the observer, as opposed to the chaotic whirlwind of emotions and thoughts. Another way that you can become more rational is to use a journal. Use a journal to put your thoughts out onto paper, your feelings out onto paper, your ideas, and start planning, setting goals, strategizing. These are all ways in which you can increase your masculine energy because it's going to put you in a more rational way of thinking. The next step is to delay gratification. So, a lot of us have a sweet tooth. A lot of us like to touch ourselves looking at hot girls on Instagram. Yeah, a lot of us like to indulge in pleasure and comfort. And in fact, this is one of the things that's destroying real masculinity on earth today. Our masculine energy is threatened by this overindulgence in comfort and pleasures. This puts us in our feminine. This makes us submissive. This makes us more emotional, less stable, without direction and purpose, because our life becomes about fulfilling gratification. Our life becomes about gratifying the five senses as opposed to gratifying the heart and the soul through meaningful and intentional action that does not just serve ourselves, but serves those around us, our communities and our world. So delay gratification. You got a craving, learn to sit through it. You'll come to realize that everything is temporary. Every craving is temporary. Every thought pattern, every feeling is temporary. And so things come and they go. And when you delay gratification and allow yourself to sit through craving, you'll start to innovate new ways to use your time, new ways to spend your energy and direct your attention. Necessity is the mother of invention. And so if you are removing the craving through gratifying it, then you're removing the necessity for you to find and innovate new ways of showing up in your life. And so once you allow yourself to crave, once you allow yourself to get bored, once you allow yourself to embrace craving and boredom, you allow yourself to then innovate and use your God-given creativity that will just happen naturally to find new ways of operating and showing up. The next tip I'm going to give you, homie, to increase your masculine energy is to learn how to have some control over your emotions. Now, very important note here is that I'm not saying suppress your emotions. I'm not saying repress and shove down your emotions. When we binge eat, when we smoke weed repeatedly, when we watch porn, masturbate, scroll on social media, whatever the instant gratification, dopamine-inducing behavior might be, we're attempting to control our emotion, but through suppression, okay? Not in an emotionally intelligent way. So what I recommend to you is, again, learn how to meditate, learn how to sit with your emotions, but then learn how to actually fulfill the needs that aren't being met in a way that's skillful, as opposed to a way that's sabotaging. So for example, a way in which you might suppress your emotion, like I said, could be with food. You might get bored, you start eating, okay? I struggled with this for so long, and to be honest, I'm still making progress in the food game. The biggest demon I had was weed. So I get bored, I start smoking weed. Boredom was the emotion or the feeling that I had to experience and get comfortable with so I could then innovate new ways of dealing with it. So feel the emotion, breathe into the emotion. In boredom, there is anxiety. In anger, there is sadness, okay? Emotions aren't always what they seem. Learn to control them through being with them, through breathing through them, through controlling your impulses when you're in that emotional state, through redirecting your mind when you're in that emotional state. So this isn't necessarily about controlling the emotion itself. It's more about controlling yourself and your behavior when you're in that emotional state. And so instead of pushing the emotion down with food, drugs, alcohol, porn, gaming, screens, social media, whatever it might be, you then invent new ways to operate. Okay, one can just be being with the feeling, breathing, learning how to breathe effectively to regulate your emotions. Okay, the next could be finding new ways to operate and channel that emotional energy. So get creative. If you stop fapping, you're going to experience, and if you stop smoking weed too, you'll experience that you've got tons more energy. How are you going to use it? Get into the gym, get into the sauna, and use that energy up. Okay? So this point was about controlling your emotions, but I would say even so, regulate your emotions. Learn to regulate your emotions, and this is going to help you become more masculine than ever before, my friend. Here's an interesting one. The next tip I'm going to give you to increase your masculine energy is to upgrade your priorities. Be in more of a priority mindset. You see, there's a difference between being in constant activity and taking decisive, intentional action. You can be busy the whole day, and at the end of the day you feel like you got nothing done. Why? Because you didn't move towards your goals. So you might not even have goals. Set some goals. If you want me to create a video that's a bit more of a guided video, guided process where we go through these things, then let me know in the comments and I'll make it happen. But if you set some goals, then at least you've got a direction to move yourself in, and you can then prioritize how you spend your time and energy so that you're always moving towards those goals. Okay? There are different categories of life that you want to be setting goals in, like physical, mental, emotional, intelligence, fun, life experience, social, romantic. Okay, so just consider some of the different aspects of life and what are some of the things that you want within those aspects of life, and then how you're going to go about doing them. And then when you find yourself within the day just getting busy with meaningless activity that's not actually taking you towards them, stop yourself and say, is this part of my priority? Is this something that is a priority for me? Do I really need to wash the plate in the sink now? Does it need to be done now? Or do I feel the need to do that because I'm afraid that mum's going to get mad? Okay? You see, the feminine energy in us is so concerned, overly concerned with the fine details. But in order to get things done, you've got to just consider that done is better than perfect. So drop the perfectionism by allowing yourself to create and do things that's in a way that it's not necessarily perfect and it doesn't look all pristine and flawless, but it's done, and done is better than perfect. Functional is better than perfect. Okay? So upgrade your priorities. This is going to help you in becoming more masculine, my friend. Now, another thing to point out about this topic of priorities is to upgrade how we perceive things as important or not. You see, something's important if it's a priority, right? But if your priorities aren't set, then you're going to be making things that aren't even important appear to be very important. Now, the danger of this is that we can waste so much time on things that don't actually matter that much, or things that don't need our time and attention and energy right now, when we could be focusing on things that were far more important. So consider the problems in the world. Consider what's going on in your community. Consider your work, your craft, your graft. Consider the family that you want to create, the children that you're going to have one day if you haven't got these already. Consider what's most important and who you are to become in order to fulfill that, as opposed to giving yourself and your time and your energy away to that which isn't that important right now. I used to spend so much energy and time sitting with every single emotion that I was feeling, and trying to have every difficult conversation, trying to settle every ounce, every grain of conflict between me and my sisters, and my brother, and my mother. Family is important, right? But talking about everything and trying to solve every conflict, eventually I realised that, you know what, I just need some bigger things to be concerned with here. I'm spending far too much time and energy at home trying to have these conversations with people that don't really want to have them. Okay? And so what's important for me is to start getting clear on my priorities and focusing on them, building a business. So just consider that what you're ranking as important right now isn't that important. There's crumbs in the kitchen on the floor. Okay, you can clean it up, but you might not need to do it right now. Okay? You might not need to do it right now. There's things to be done, but yes, it doesn't all need to be done right now. What needs to be done right now? What needs to be done right now? Get clear on that and take it up on your list, on your hierarchy of what's really important. Next up, this is an interesting one, you know. How to increase your masculine energy? Raise your standards for women. Raise your standards for women. Why do I say this? I might get a thumbs down for this. Hopefully you're giving the thumbs up though, you get me? Why am I saying this about raising your standards? Porn, masturbation, Instagram, you go on the explore tab. you'll see chicks. It's almost like a porn site now. Trust, it's almost like an adult media site, Instagram, where a lot of us are running and managing our businesses, okay? Or socializing with friends and stuff, or making arrangements. And there's soft porn on there. It's like, yo. What this does is it lowers our standards for women. And what do I mean by that? It means that we're just willing to ejaculate. I'm just going to say it. We're just willing to ejaculate for a woman that looks pretty. Okay? And whether we're even with that woman or not doesn't matter. If she's on a screen, it's like, go and bust a nut. Okay? But here's the thing. This affects the ways in which we perceive women in real life. And so you'll start going out there. You might let a woman into your life. Oh, baby. You might share your life, your time, your energy, years of your life with a woman. Mainly because she's physically attractive. And when you actually get together, you get through the honeymoon phase, they call it. You start to realize that, yo, this is a lot of trouble. And of course, relationship takes work. Yes, relationships do take that. But so many of us get into relationships with girls that are just physically attractive, or they're going to give us some sexual satisfaction. And because that's the thing that we're ranking high on the hierarchy, our standards are actually low. Why are they low? Because we're not considering what really makes a good mother. Why are you actually going into the relationship in the first place? Most relationships today are dead end. This is why I don't date no more. I've had 2 girlfriends in my life, okay? I'll tell you honestly, I've had 2 girlfriends in my life, but I decided, especially when I came back to Islam, praise be to the Most High, that I'm not about dating. Why? Because dating and getting girlfriends and boyfriends and this, that, if you're getting a girlfriend, what's that all about? Now I look at women and I say, would she make a good wife? Would she make a good mother? Okay? A lot of this was inspired in me by Elliot Hulse. To raise my standards, to start asking these questions. Would she be a good homemaker? You go to her house, you look at her bedroom, it's a mess. It's like, yo, there is a problem here. Or she don't cook food. I know there's a lot of mixed emotions and controversy about this. You might think I'm saying women should be in the kitchen. That's not what I'm saying. I just got to fill in that blank for you though, because that's what you might be thinking when I'm saying this. But if a woman can't nourish herself and she isn't nourishing herself well, then what makes you think she's going to be nourishing your children well? Okay? What makes you think that she's going to help those children build a healthy gut microbiome and be far less likely to develop these Western diseases? So upgrade your standards, raise your standards for women. Start asking questions like, would she be a good wifey? Most girls, get this guys, this is one for you. Most women that walk around in revealing clothing have very low self-respect. Very low self-respect, and they also don't really have good relationships with men. Okay? Just giving it straight to you. Not all situations, not all women, but I'm saying most women that go around with really revealing clothing, they don't respect themselves. They don't respect the prize, baby. They don't respect it. And so, don't you want to be with a woman that respects herself, that respects her sexuality, that respects her energy, that respects her soul? Or is she just getting penetrated by man left, right and centre? If her body count is high, which it most likely is today, for most girls, it's like, sorry. So raise your standards, start identifying these red flags. Another red flag you can look for is really needy and attached. Father issues. Now this is not to judge and say, oh, something's wrong with you because you've got father issues. Almost everyone's got these wounds today, mother and father wounds. So it's important for us to be engaged in the process of healing those wounds and doing the personal development, self-improvement work. And so she's got no clue and she's operating from these traumas, these wounds. I'm not saying it's 100% no-go, but I'm going to say it's going to be very hard. Okay? So look out for women that respect men. Look out for women. When I say look out, I mean look for them. Watch out for women. Be wary of the woman who needs to be in control. Be wary of the woman that finds it difficult to receive, to be feminine. Be wary of the woman that exposes so much of her physical self. Be wary of the woman that's willing to be sexual and get in the bedroom and get in bed and get funky on the first date. I've said no to women who want to get funky on the first day. The first date she wants to be banging, I say no. What do you mean? I don't even know you. And now you want me to enter you? Really? No way. Not going to happen. You know what she said? She said, I never experienced that before. I've never experienced that before. It did something to him and it healed her. It gave her some faith in man again to say, you know what? They're not just chasing pleasure. They're not just these effeminate pleasure seekers and comfort clutchers. Some of them have actually got some values, some morals. And so she gains a little bit of faith back in men. If enough of us do this, then the women, what they start to do is they start to trust in men again, that we're not just these masturbating morons. And so they get that trust, they learn to receive from us once again, instead of needing to be the ones that are in control, because we've become weak as men. It's deep, guys. It's deep. And this is deep stuff that we're talking about here, and I'm willing to go deeper and deeper. So let's get on to the next point anyway. Okay, that one was about raising your standards for women. Watch out for the red flags. Watch out for the neediness, the clinginess. Watch out for the manipulation. Watch out for the promiscuity. Watch out for over-revealing the body. Okay? Watch out for all these things. And look for a woman who's nourishing herself. She's going to nourish the kids. Who makes a beautiful home. She's got a tidy bedroom and house. Or wherever she lives is tidy and clean. Because she cares about it. Yeah? Look for a woman, I would say, who exhibits the traits of motherly nature, who would be a good mother, who is feminine, who can receive, who can let go of control and be led, okay? Who can be touched without her traumas getting triggered. Bless. And so let's move on. The next step in becoming more masculine, increasing your masculine energy, is to take responsibility and stop complaining. You see how I said that? Take responsibility and stop complaining, son. Something happened in your life, okay. You were abused as a child, okay. This happened, this was not your fault. This was not your fault. You do not have to let that define you. Okay, you got your heart broken, okay. Let out the tears, grieve, the pain. But it's time to rise up, homie. It's time to rise up. It's time to step up. It's time to look after yourself again. It's time to treat yourself well. It's time to take decisive, intentional action now in this moment for the better. Even if you've been programmed from childhood to not like yourself. Okay? Take responsibility and ownership for it, to say, you know what, no matter how long this takes to change, I'm going to change it. No matter how long it takes to reprogram my mind, my belief system, to overcome these limiting beliefs, to heal these traumas and wounds, I'm going to do it. In fact, I'm grateful because now I've got a whole list of quests inherited from early life experiences and difficulties that I've faced that I can now use to fill my life with meaningful, intentional activity and growth. And that's something we all want to experience, is growth. And so stop playing the blame games, even though people did hurt you, perhaps. People hurt you. Yes, perhaps when you was a young kid, innocent child. This is the tragedy. I call it God's bad humour. This is God's bad humour. Okay? He makes jokes out of it. It's like, Go and have all these traumas, and then what you're going to realize 10, 15 years down the line or beyond is that those experiences, even though they were traumatic, were gifts because you learned from them and you became who you were meant to be, and you then even went on to help other people, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I took responsibility for all my weaknesses. I've still got weaknesses to work on, don't get it twisted, but overcome weed addiction, right? Porn addiction, low confidence, low self-worth, couldn't talk to girls, really put in the arduous work to sit through cravings, to go out and speak to women, to be intimidated, but to do it anyway and to get a phone full of numbers. You get me? It's possible. If I can do it, this guy that literally grew up thinking he was ugly, you can do it. Okay, if I can do it, try it. Anyone can. Okay, so take responsibility when things don't go to plan, when things break, when things don't go right. How did you play a role in that? Yes, other people play the role in it. Yes, other people might be cutting you off in traffic and then that leads to X, Y, Z. But ultimately, you could have been more aware or you could have been more prepared. So take responsibility for the quantity that you are responsible for that piece of the situation that you hold responsibility for. Take responsibility and own it. And this is going to help you level up in your masculine energy. Okay, women don't like guys to be pointing fingers and blaming and you did be. Yeah? No, women and men respect men who take ownership and responsibility. Okay? So, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment with anything that you've got. Any feedback, any suggestions for future videos. Let me know if this helped you in any way. Which one of the points that I mentioned resonated with you the most. Yes, there are more ways to increase your masculine energy. Maybe I'll make another video on this. But for now, stay sharp. Stay vigilant. Stay blessed. Stay masculine. Yo, do us a favor, would you? I want these videos to be fueled on the public's requests, meaning I want you to message me and let me know what you want me to make videos on. What are you struggling with? What challenges are you facing in life at the moment? How can I be of service to you? It would be an honor to speak directly to you, and that's why I'm asking for this. You see, if you send me your questions in paragraph form, as opposed to just the name of the topic or the title, I can speak directly to you because I know your situation a little better. So if you want to just mention some topics you'd like me to film videos on, feel free to do that. But if you also want to go a little bit deeper and help a brother out with ammo, then send me a nice little paragraph or 2 or 3 and just vent, let me know what's going on in your life and I'll be able to make a video that suits you and helps many more as well. So you can leave those things in the comments below, or you can head over to my Instagram page via the link in the description. You might want to give me a follow there too, and send me a direct message. Message me directly with your questions, queries, situation, and I'll do my best to be of service to you. Peace and stay blessed.